Hi everyone. My name is Anthony Ndungu. I'm going to present to you a white paper review on the state of application development in retail banking. Welcome. Okay, I'm starting with the introduction. The introduction is just to show the publisher is OutSystems, and the date published was 3rd October of 2019, which means it's a very recent as at the time of this recording. And the author of the paper is Fintech Futures. I'm starting with the summary of why the paper is important. So, well, over the past decade or so, the disruptions in the industry are at an all-time high, thanks to the fast-paced digital transformation in the industry. So, retail banks across the world, especially the major ones, have spent a huge amounts of money to try and retain and acquire new customers as well. So, despite all that, disruptions has come from all different angles. That has necessitated that IT leaders have been busy analyzing the risk and aligning their IT strategies accordingly in order to stay afloat, because these disruptions are not coming from their main competitors or the similarly big banks. Some are coming from people who have no budgets to start with, just a simple idea which they execute perfectly. So the key challenges, as we've seen, is behavioral changes by the clients. The clients are becoming more and more tech savvy, and they want totally so much, lots of things. Some want to do internet banking, mobile banking, to transfer money to people outside their countries and stuff. The money to get there as fast as possible. So disruptions. There is also disruptions from competitors. There is strict statutory and compliance requirements, the KYC, know your customer, and the anti-money launderings across the globe. So is another key challenge for the banks. There is cyber attacks. Don't need to explain about this. Legal application systems, or legacy, sorry, application systems which can hardly meet customers' needs. So, while I was going through the paper there, I came up with I had a look at the quality of the presentation. So the paper was well presented in terms of it had clear title, table of contents, and summary. They were all relevant to the subject of discussion and all the way until conclusion as well. And the analysis of the finding of the research were well presented as well, by using clear visuals in form of bar graphs and pie charts, geographical maps, color coding for ease of comparison. However, there are some keywords here like silo and channel focus development, which I believe the author assumed that the person using the paper will know them, but in my opinion, they were supposed to be defined, or at least some citation provided for them as those keywords. The quality of research done, it was basically a qualitative research that was conducted recently, that is March 2019, which is barely, at the time of recording this, on the 13th of October 2019, that means it's barely about roughly 6 months ago. So IT professionals from all over the world, across the world, different demographic distributions were interviewed. The research method used was a great choice, since the researcher was able to easily reach the respondents of large geographical distribution, because he interviewed IT professionals across all over the world, and they were more than 3,000 of them were interviewed and gave feedback, and different demographic distributions. So for such a kind of a research, this was an important or a good way of doing that, collecting the data. So online tools were also used in taking up the responses, which made it faster to complete the survey within a very short time. Well, on the quality of research, the target population being IT savvy, that is people who, the IT professionals basically, so means it was easy to conduct a quality survey online. Analysis and conclusions were well supported by data. The research method is adequately described with the different dimensions of the diversity of the respondents clearly shown, because the paper clearly shows the categorization of the diversity of the respondents from different continents, and the respondents were also drawn across different size of organization and those kind of things. However, as demonstrated by Maya in 2011, age of employees and particularly IT professionals is a key determinant adoption of new technologies. Therefore, age dimension should have been added to the survey demographics, which most likely would have added more insights into the analysis done. So, the IT professionals that were interviewed, we had been given all the demographics that relates to them, but one key one that was missing is the age groups of the respondents. Here is my analysis of the paper. So over the years, information systems in traditional banks have had the challenges of siloed applications. And siloed applications, as per definition provided by Rauch Law and Amra in 2008, siloed applications are applications which cannot easily integrate with other applications and stuff. So due to the changes in customer behavior coupled with technological advances, fintech revolution has disrupted banking sector and therefore taken up many of the bank's customers. So the bank are losing customers due to the fintech revolution, where small focused fintech financial technology companies have started, and they are taking up the traditional services that were being provided traditionally by banks. They are being provided by these companies, the startup companies. For instance, mobile money transfer has eliminated the need for the customer to go to the bank, fill up a lot of forms, and then just to initiate a transaction that I need to pay somebody in a different area or different country, and then so I can actually do it from my cell phone or something like that. This has introduced the need for retail banks to be able to quickly adapt to changes or else run out of business. So during the 2008 financial crisis, many banking employees lost their jobs while the customers were looking for alternatives to their problems. For instance, the interest rates were high, the exchange rates were high, the home loans sector was collapsing in 2008. So banks' customers were looking for solutions to that problem. So former employees ended up creating startups which were focused and technology driven, in the end disrupting the industry. So these employees would come up, 2 or 3 guys, and maybe with some technology savvy person, and then they start up something on the internet, and they which simply sorts out this problem. So the banks could not easily fast follow the trend. Their system were too siloed and rigid to adapt. The author has described the low-code rapid application development in an agile environment whose aim is to speed up system changes. So the paper was basically about how these retail banks can easily change their systems. Their systems are so big, siloed, legacy, but not very rigid and not easy to change. So question here was about how do they easily adapt, because nowadays changes are coming very fast and you can easily be left behind. So this is the novel, since changes of the information systems requires scarce software engineering and other skills. However, the author focused on faster speed in application development, which in my opinion is incomplete without mention of speed in deployment and delivery of applications to the end user. DevOps tools and technologies fill the gaps when it comes to faster shipment and deployment. So basically, the author missed out on, he focused much on development of the application, but didn't mention about this key challenge where it also takes time to deploy the system or to give it to the end user. So at this point, that's where DevOps comes in. In conclusion, there is no doubt about the need for faster ways of changing and shipment of application changes. The concept of low-code application development is clear now, and it's a good tool for solving the challenges of slow pace in application development. Okay, I've also included for further reading, there is need to know about the cost implication of the low-code development tools and how much training is required for use of these tools. Because for every change, every tools, they need to be learning. There's a learning curve, and people need to know about them, how they will handle them, and maintenance. And that's here is references, a list of references, and that's the end of it.